I was just reading an article today about Shakira, the singer. She's originally from Colombia, South America, and she's been all over the news because of this tax evasion case that's going on with her. What happened was she was dating this professional athlete and living in Spain. The funny thing was that she had residency in Bahamas, so evidently somebody gave her some pretty good tax advice. She either forgot the other part or she just plain was being foolish. But Bahamas doesn't have any income tax, any capital gains tax, estate tax, inheritance tax. Similar laws that they've got in St. Kitts. It's a pure tax haven. But the fact is I guess she figured, maybe she got confused, I don't know. I guess she figured maybe her residency was in Bahamas, but she could just stay in Spain that taxes worldwide income to its residents and not think anything of it. And this went on actually for a long time. And she had just paid about $17 million euros. Now they're going after her for millions and millions of dollars more. I forgot the exact figure, but it's a lot. I think it was like 23 million. Forgot the exact figure. I was going to read the article out, but I figured I'd just more or less talk to you about it. And the reason I'm bringing this out, this is what I've been talking about in so many videos, is why I'm so against going to countries where you've got to pop in and pop out. Okay, now it might not be a quick in, a quick pop out, but the fact is most countries have a 183-day period where if you're there and you haven't left the country, you're going to be taxed on your worldwide income. And how they pick it up is they usually pick it up automatically from the time you enter on your passport, the time you leave. Okay, it's very easy to pick that up. Of course, she's a very high-profile person, being a singer, and and she got pictures taken of the paparazzi. It's proof that she was in there, and that they're actually going against her too on these pictures that were taken. So you're a high-profile person. They're going to catch you anyway. But I'm saying if you're high-profile, you're going to have pictures and all kinds of stuff, with you being there and at the place that you weren't supposed to be. The fact is, she should have stayed in Bahamas. I guess her boyfriend was playing a professional sport there, and she figured that nobody would pick up on it. Maybe she abided by it for a while and she was out of there before 183 days was out. But then she figured, well, nobody will find out, but they will. That's just the key. And this is why I tell people, and I've mentioned this on other videos, stay away from countries getting residency like places like Colombia, Mexico. Turkey's another one I've mentioned before. They tax heavily worldwide on your income if you live there. And usually the day period that they look at is 183 days. That's what most countries use. You'd have to look at the country that you're actually picking, but stick with countries that have either territorial tax system where you're not taxed on income outside the country, or even better yet, pure tax haven, like which she picked. She had done her homework. She got a residency there in Bahamas, but the problem was she wasn't going by that. And I guess she figured that no one would pick up on it. I don't know. But evidently she didn't get enough good advice to, warrant and prepare. And now she's got this huge bill. They're trying to get her for tax evasion and want her to spend many years in prison. It's a mess. But as I've mentioned many times before, take countries that I've just mentioned and cross them out. That's the key. Countries that tax worldwide income, if you're a resident there, just don't put them on your selection. Knock them off. I mean, it's that simple to do. And she did that. Actually, she picked the right country, Bahamas. And they've got really good tax laws there. But folks, don't think that they're not going to pick up on this stuff. They're going to find out if you're popping in and you're overstaying that time period. So, if you're wanting to do this thing right, and I guess one thing was too, it's probably very difficult for him to be over there when he was playing in Bahamas, if you know, if he's a professional athlete, and then you know, she sings and she takes off and she's probably on the road a lot, he's probably on the road a lot too, but she just made a bad choice in going there, and that's just a problem that, you know, that can happen when you pick these high tax countries. You need to stay away from them. Also, folks, if you want to legally get your income taxes to zero, how to get a second passport as quick as 45 days, do 3 things. Hit the subscribe button at the right of your screen. You get new videos automatically. We've got almost 800 videos that will basically teach you how to keep from having these problems like she's running into right now. And number 2 is I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. Number 3 is go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help. But you know, I think what happens to a lot of people is I was talking to a guy not too long ago that lived in Mexico, and he's aware of the, you know, he's got to be popping out, and after a certain length of time, and I think for Mexico it's about 183 days. If you don't, they're going to tax you on your worldwide income there. And Mexico is very strict on taxing worldwide income. My suggestion is, like I said, don't pick those countries to begin with. I think anybody who does that, especially if you're moving from a high tax country like the US or Canada or one of these other countries, and then you're popping back in to countries maybe like Colombia, Mexico, that you think are not that strict on taxes, because I think a lot of people get in their mind that these countries like Mexico and Colombia don't stay on top of taxes than they do. They are very keen on that. It's a very easy way to collect revenue from wealthy people. And Spain is even more on the stick. And that's where her problem was. These EU countries are sticklers on income taxes. I would tell people, unless it's a country that has in their tax laws that you can avoid taxes, and I've given you examples of one, which is Ireland. They've got a terrific non-dom program. The only disadvantage, as I mentioned before, is the weather there is really bad. But if you can deal with that, some people like colder weather all year round. Of course, you're going to get a lot of wet weather there too. But literally, you can almost, Ireland can be almost like a tax haven, okay? In fact, you can get your taxes down. A lot of examples, and I gave you one the other day on the video, where you can actually get your taxes down lower than you can in St. Kitts. But you're not going to get that with Spain. Spain is very difficult. Even their golden visa program, I've told people to stay away from it. It's not a good program, unless you don't mind socialism, because they're going to tax you before you get the passport. And you're also going to have to learn the Spanish language. I would be picking countries that have really good passports, like Ireland. You can literally get your taxes to zero there. You don't have to learn a different language other than English. If you listen to this video, you got that knocked already. I would be staying away from countries that you have to learn a second language if you don't already know it. But it looks like she's going to have a real headache dealing with this, and you know, it's too bad. But to think that they're not going to pick up when you dip in and you dip out of that country, whether it's Spain, Canada, or any of these other countries that tax based on the length of time that you've been in there on your worldwide income, don't think they won't catch you. There's very easy ways to do it. One is the passport, like I've mentioned to you. They stamp it when you come in and when you go out. I got a friend that was a missionary in Panama, and he was actually a citizen of South Africa. He'd gone to work with the Kuna tribes in converting the Bible to their language. It took him several years to do it. And he flew into to the US one time, and what happened was, for some reason, when he left, they didn't stamp his passport, of all things. You wonder how in the hell that happened, but they just forgot. And he noticed it when he left, but he just didn't think anything of it. Well, a couple of years later, he got a notice from the IRS in the US. They had picked up on his passport. It had not been stamped, so it wasn't registered in the computer. So they assumed he was still in the US. He overstayed his time. Remember, the US has got a law, it's called, it's based on you being overstaying on your time. They can tax you based on having a green card, just like they do if you're a US citizen, whether you live in the US or not, until you give up the green card itself. Or they can hit you on what's called a substantial presence test, which is, you know, if you overstay your time in the US, it doesn't make a difference if you got a residency or not. If you stay there over a certain number of days per year, they can actually hit you and tax you on your worldwide income. I don't know what he ended up doing to get out of that mess, but he said he had to go through a lot to get out of paying the tax on that. It was a mess. So my suggestion is pick your countries wisely when you're picking residency by investment. Make sure you stick with countries that have territorial or pure tax haven status. And if you got a boyfriend, girlfriend, you got a wife or something somewhere else, and they're living in a different country, you're going to have to acknowledge, you're going to either have to get her to move back, or you're going to have to be separated. So you got to come to terms on this. And that's why I tell people a lot of cases, it's a lot easier to do all this planning when you're single than when you're married. I don't want to break up any marriages, but it is a lot easier doing it, because especially if you've got someone that's got a business in a different country, and then you got to pack your bags up and leave because you don't want to pay taxes on your worldwide income. And this is exactly what happened with her, just overstaying the time. So anyway, if you're wanting to learn more on this, and also folks, if you're looking to get a second passport as quick as 45 days, this is the quickest country in the world in St. Kitts. It's got more visa-free travel than any of the fast-track programs in the Caribbean. You've got roughly around 162 countries visa-free or visa-free on arrival that you can go to. It beats all the fast-track programs in the Caribbean. But the thing I like about St. Kitts and Nevis, it's the only one in the Caribbean other than Antigua and Barbuda that have less visa-free travel that is a pure tax haven, which there is no income tax, no capital gains tax, no estate tax, no inheritance tax. A property tax is only 0.20% of whatever you're purchasing, with a $29,600 US exclusion before that 0.20% kicks in. So you're virtually paying almost nothing on property taxes. If you're looking for a libertarian dream come true, folks, this is it. I'm going to tell you. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect. You're going to have things here that you don't like, okay? But I can tell you, if you're libertarian, all your boxes are going to be checked here. You won't be running into problems like Shakira's got, as long as you don't, you know, if you're living here and you're going to different countries, don't overstay your time. And again, like I've told people before, don't pick countries for residency that are not territorial or a pure tax haven status, because what's going to happen is one of these days, when you pick one of those countries, you could get sick, get hurt where you can't leave the country, or you just forget. You know, you forget to pack your bags up and leave, so you don't have to pay taxes on your worldwide income for that year. That gets to be a pain in the butt. I'm 69 years old. I can tell you that's a pain in the butt to have to do that, to pack your bags and leave, because you got to look at your calendar and get your ass out of there to keep from paying taxes worldwide. That's not the way to do it. Pick your countries. You don't have to do that with countries that you and your spouse and your kids are going to like. That's the way to do it. If you got any more questions, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com. Ask for some help. And number two is, I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. And folks, again, we got over 700 videos. This is where you're going to pick up a lot of good tips in making your choices. Hit the subscribe button. You'll get all these videos automatically every single day. And I look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.